Okay guys, I am back with another free collective reading. Okay, so, look, I've just split the deck. What I was channeling before I started this reading is not just Satanism, oh lordy, not just Satanism, although that is a heavy energy surrounding this reading. Then we have these narcissists, flying monkeys, okay? They are involved in Aleister Crowley worship, okay? So this team of Satanists are into the dark side of the occult, okay? All the low vibrational things, you know, anything satanic and anything demonic, they are in tunage with that. Anything of the low vibrational frequency. It was 01 on the clock there. It was when I looked, but I didn't say it quick enough. So, drug problem. 50 to 60,000 pound forcing power of attorney. So this corrupt satanic attorney a group, a gang, a team, a cult, a coven, whatever these low rank cranks want to call themselves nowadays, they're heavily into the dark arts and the satanic like cult, okay, or coven, and they've paid 50 to 60,000 pounds to force power of attorney over a divine masculine or a divine feminine. Making out like you are unfit, or 202, or making out like this divine masculine, divine feminine is unfit, because they want to force power of attorney for the money, okay? They could have been paid 50 to 60,000 pounds to force power of attorney, or they're trying to force power of attorney over 50 to 60,000 pounds. But I'm getting quite possibly a a corrupt attorney who we've got drug problem and drug debts. Could have wanted to clear their drug debts. Somebody wanted to clear their drug debts, okay, with what they had with other people in a satanic cult or a coven. So this could be at least a couple of different satanic cults or coven, Aleister Crowley worship, who want to force power of attorney over people because they have a drug problem, okay, and they want to make out like this masculine or feminine, who are free, who they've forced power of attorney over, is unfit because they want the money. It even says it there. You know, when I start channeling this stuff and then think I'm going to have to put it, you know, on my channel and I'm going to have to do a reading about it, it all resonates, it all goes, it all links together. The channeling, and then I go to the cards, making out like this masculine or feminine is unfit because they want the money. They could have paid 50 to 60,000 pounds to force power of attorney, so it could be a substantially large amount of money. They wanted to clear their drug debts, okay, so they're into drug trafficking. Confirmation surrounding your case. Death hex on life, family and career. Mental magic. We've got incubus, succubus, okay, so then they have not only drug problems but some major sex addictions, so they want to force power of attorney to take the money so they can clear their drug debts, get more drugs, so they wanted to take power of attorney to clear their drug debts, but then get more drugs to drug traffic. So basically these corrupt attorneys have allowed this to happen, okay, and gone along with this so they can force power of attorney over divine masculine, divine feminine's generational wealth, and 4, 5, 6 there, And then they're just spending it on drug trafficking, okay? Spending it on doing mental magic. So divine masculine, divine feminine, 0505 has a mental breakdown because the force power of attorney and the force in a mental breakdown, okay, because it's a lot of money. Age 40 to 45, okay, hiding money under their bed. And then we have phone sales, phone shop. Could have worked in phone sales. So somebody in this connection, they don't have to be 40 or 45, but somebody in this connection used to work in phone sales, okay? With this incubus succubus, sexual connections, they also have some sort of a sex addiction, and they want to feed their drug habits, drug debts, pay that off, get more drugs, sell them, traffic them, okay? Then with anyone who they have sexual connections with, they're going to be loving it because, you know, this masculine or feminine has got a load of drugs because that's what a lot of people are into. You know, a lot of harsh drugs. And pretty much any man or woman, if they have money and they have a load of drugs, then they can get in there with anybody. And I mean absolutely anybody because of the drugs. Okay. Loan shark. So they could have had like a loan shark onto them. Okay, so some satanic group gang, I haven't got hoodoo. They could have had all these drug debts, wanted to pay the drug debts off, get more drugs to traffic more drugs, pay off a loan shark because they got money from a person who was after them and they wanted the money back, what they lent. So they could have lent like, you know, a large amount of money, large amount of drugs to get a large amount of drugs, and then they could have robbed them, but then this loan shark is demanding to have this money back. So the forcing power of attorney over a divine masculine, divine feminine's assets, generational wealth. They could have tried to say that this divine masculine, divine feminine had a personality disorder, but they obviously have a personality disorder because they're absolute sociopaths, narcissistic, psychopaths, okay? There's a distorted feminine involved, wanting to do hoodoo, okay? Wants to spend the money on her sexual connections, drugs trafficking, magic, okay? Wants to start a street fight, so paying these people in drugs or in money to start a street fight with divine masculine, divine feminine, who they force power of attorney, yeah? And then passing guns around to end your life, okay? Or divine masculine, divine feminine's life, okay? Because you could be like an undercover cop, like FBI agent, okay, CID, something like that. There's a tattoo artist involved. And then somebody involved in forcing power of attorney in this drug gang, and then this cult, like coven type thing. They are mad with divine masculine, divine feminine, that they don't want to have sex with them anymore. So because they don't want sexual connections with somebody anymore, they are involved in doing this. Also, filing false reports. They've been getting illegal protection, okay? Trying to block downloads because it's involved in smuggling drugs. I can't even make this up. So they try and block like people like mine's download because they don't want these messages getting out there, okay? They're into smuggling drugs. I said drug trafficking. So they have wanted to force power of attorney so they can get someone's generational wealth. And, you know, I've had similar done to me as well, so I know how it feels. There's something surrounding hiding money under the bed, okay? Distorted feminine, hiding money under the bed, or one of these masculines. They're absolute psychopaths. We've got someone involved, or this could be divine masculine, divine feminine, who they're doing it to, Skin type 1, pale white, usually blue, green eyes, does not tan, always bends. And that is significant surrounding this reading. One of these people do not tan, okay? And this masculine or feminine is a misogynist. They hate women. And then they are getting police involved with helping them cover their tracks. Bully boys, police force. So bully boys, okay? Bully boys. So they've got the bully boys police force. They could have a salesman, saleswoman involved, someone who worked in sales. That doesn't just have to be phone sales, because phone sales is significant, or someone who worked at a phone shop is significant in this connection. Somebody who is a tattooist or a tattoo artist, or whatever you want to call them. Salesman, saleswoman, okay. Cracking unsolved crimes. So you could be helping crack unsolved crimes. Or I is as well, you know. Mentally strong. Mental magic. They've done mental magic because they are jealous of this divine masculine, divine feminine, who they are forcing power of attorney over, because they want the money, and they're splitting off in different areas, okay? Signing your signature, so they are signing divine masculine, divine feminine's signature in order to force power of attorney, you know? Wow, wow, and wow. Or saying to divine masculine, divine feminine, look, here's some court papers, 1155, we're here to help you, you know, with these corrupt law enforcement, and they're not. They're forcing power of attorney, wanting you to act out of lower self. So then they're wanting this masculine or feminine to act out of lower self. You could be a psychic investigator, 1212, or you could become someone like me, who is also seen as like a psychic investigator, to help solve these crimes. Band group. They could have all band together, grouped together, or one of them could have been in a band or a group at one point. Stealing inheritance. They want that generational wealth for themselves. So somebody's involved who's in a band or a group, or was in a band or a group. How dare you leave me? If I can't have you, no one can. So this is definitely going with a divine masculine and divine feminine walked away from a relationship, and now one of them exes, who they used to have sexual connections with, is now involved in this. And they could also have a personality disorder. Then we've got sister involved. Wow. So siblings involved. Dream magic. Doing dream magic because they want this divine feminine, divine masculine's life path. Okay. Group chats being proper popping. But the police are investigating these karmics. So you could be one of these good police officers. Yeah. Extending people towards divine masculine, divine feminine, pretending they want to help, but they're lying because they just want this divine masculine, divine feminine signature or some more identity in order to take. Want you to use your powers for evil, so they want divine masculine, divine feminine to use their powers for evil. Or they could be saying divine masculine, divine feminine is using their powers for to do evil things when it's these doing these evil acts and evil deeds. Emotionally manipulating, empath via narcissist paradigm. I mentioned narcissists. It's a trafficking ring. Drug trafficking ring, sex trafficking ring, gun trafficking. There is already what's come out surrounding a gun being getting passed around. Poisoning weed drugs. Okay. So if this is happening, you know, maybe get off the weed to stop you getting poisoned. I know they've poisoned me via weed countless times, so I've had to stop smoking it. But if they're forcing power of attorney and then they're into weed trafficking, then they're making sure that whatever weed comes towards divine masculine, divine feminine is poisoned, harassment. It's going to be like a volcano erupting, because these good law enforcement, these good police officers are cracking this case. There could be military people involved. Ace of Spades could be significant, or ex-military. Ace of Spades could be significant. Want your spiritual gifts. So they could be wanting your spiritual gifts, or this divine masculine, divine feminine spiritual gifts. Because they want this divine masculine, divine feminine's life path. Trying to authorise your murder. So even people in the military or ex-military is trying to authorise divine masculine, divine feminine's murder. They're too low vibrational. Wow. Beauty magic to make you look ugly. They're all getting arrested. Okay. Wanting sexually degrading images. So they're trying to sexually degrade divine masculine, divine feminine. And doing beauty magic and all these horrible low vibrational things to make divine masculine, divine feminine feel like a piece of shit. Because this is what they're all involved in. And someone who this divine masculine, divine feminine has been involved with, they want sexually degrading images because they're like, how dare you leave me, and how dare you not want to have sex with me anymore. I'm going to pop on and off, and I'm going to do some stupid spell work, and I'm going to sexually degrade you. Because if you won't give me it, yeah, I'm going to send people towards you, do black magic, this is what I'm getting, yeah. So they're going to send people towards divine masculine, divine feminine, and try and get anything, any images, use spell work 1717 in order to sexually degrade divine masculine, divine feminine. They're all getting arrested, every single one of them. Maybe they know this, okay? Maybe they know this and they want to authorise this murder or these murders so it doesn't take trial, because they don't want to go to trial. So they try to sacrifice divine masculine, divine feminine. But divine masculine, divine feminine could be working with undercovers, or like a psychic investigator like myself to solve these cases. Three of Cups. They've all been celebrating together. They're under judgment. And this could also be hitting the news. They've all been celebrating together, okay? So if their plots and plans and schemes have worked and they force power of attorney and they have gained power and control over some sort of money, assets, generational wealth, they've all been partying together. They don't care about being put under judgment because they think they've got all this illegal protection in place that they're not going to get taken down, but they are, because it's I can't get it out. Ritualistic abuse. So they're ritually abusing divine masculine, divine feminine. They are going to have to face judgment, okay? They could have also been going to like a graveyard and conjuring that of a low vibrational frequency up towards divine masculine, divine feminine. Now, if they've been doing this to a psychic investigator or a psychic, then this psychic bloody knows that. A lot of chaos, okay? A lot of trauma, maybe even quite possibly trauma bonding. I mean, obviously, Bully Boys police force, a lot of bullying to force power of attorney, to force a mental breakdown, and then if they're not having a mental breakdown and they're standing up and they're fighting against this, they're doing mental magic, hoodoo, then wanting to start a street fight and sacrifice divine masculine, divine feminine, because they don't want to face accountability for their severe crimes. Because this ain't no petty crime, this is severe crimes. This is severe criminal activity, and it's persistent. It's persistent. And they use like spell casting. They'll go to other people to do hoodoo, voodoo, root work, whatever it is, this mental magic. And they're always getting people to wave the fucking wands. Crown chakra attacks. Also, because the crown has just cracked off, so they are after people's crowns. Could be linking to a motorcycle club who's tried to end divine masculine, divine feminine's financial stability. Ace of Swords, that's the truth. I can't even make this up. I really can't make this up. That is the truth. Look, I said this. It's all about forcing power of attorney for generational wealth, corrupt attorney, corrupt police officers. Okay, so they are linking to that because some of them wanted to pay off a loan shark. Okay. A lot of them want this life path. Having to out-psycho the psychos. They're always going to this person who works in law. They're always going to this person who works in law, okay? This person in law wants to, part of the bully boys, okay? Doesn't have to be an air sign masculine, but could be an air sign masculine. But this masculine works in law and is part of the bully boys, okay? And he wants to go abroad, so he wants power of attorney over this generational wealth because he wants to go abroad and then give out gifts, which is money or what have you, to whoever abroad. Or could have gone abroad with taking power of attorney over this generational wealth and then bringing something back, either paying for spell work or giving gifts to people to end this divine masculine, divine feminine. Two of Swords. Trying to block this divine masculine, divine feminine from being seen as a star, as an inspirational leader. Trying to block this divine masculine, divine feminine from healing. Because they deliberately trying to make this divine masculine, divine feminine ill. Six of Cups, family, from past, and that has been illuminated. The stalking, the spying. They want this divine masculine, divine feminine with the Five of Cups and Ace of Pentacles to lose sight of that prosperity, what's coming towards her. So they could be deliberately making this divine masculine, divine feminine depressed. So could struggle with depression, but doing death hex on life, family, career because of this good destiny. They don't like that she is strong, stronger than them. So they keep doing attacks after attacks. Here they are. They're persistently going to some maybe hierarchy. A corrupt female judge who is also getting paid money under the table. Also involved in like money laundering or involved in like white collar crimes, you know, racketeering. And they've done this to an archangel, a messenger. They've done all this to an archangel who's a messenger. I don't bloody know. So all these attacks on an archangel, a messenger, could be a psychic medium. Because they've, again, linking to some sort of a motorcycle club who was being told to bring conflict. We've got Five of Swords in reverse. They was all told to bring conflict, to bring chaos, okay? To bully, to gang stalk, start a street fight, okay? because they've took power of attorney of this divine masculine, divine feminine's generational wealth, financial independence, and trying to overtake this divine masculine, divine feminine's business because they want it for their own. Yeah, some sort of skills. Somebody involved could be a demonically possessed artist, okay, who was very stressed because maybe they've been caught playing games. They thought it was a secret, and they know they're going to get found guilty because they was in lack themselves, okay? Whoever this divine masculine, divine feminine used to live with, Four of Wands, at some point, they was in lack mentality themselves, and they wanted to come out of poverty themselves. Yeah, they was in lack mentality themselves, okay? They was lacking in their own world, so they wanted to get on and involved and do some dark cult practices. They wanted to do some dark magic. This could be them conjuring up some sort of water deities, okay? Could be something to do with trying to hide something in a cave as well, or hide something within a coven. Hide something in a cave or something underground. Hide something in a cave or something underground, and then set off, persistent, set off, attack an archangel. Or for the love of money, what's not actually theirs. Which is ridiculous, innit? Because it's not even theirs. Could be some sort of healing studies, but they want to block. Wow, 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 and wow. Could be some sort of healing studies or trying to block some sort of healing. Okay, so launching these attacks and then not wanting divine masculine or divine feminine to heal themselves because these attacks have been persistent and it's been going on for a very long time. It's been going on for years and years and years, this. Savings accounts. So they could have some sort of savings accounts, okay, linking to knife crimes, bike crimes, yeah, where they drive a look, coven here. So linking to some sort of coven. Could want this masculine and feminine to stay on their own so they're more easily attacked. They could be hiding some sort of money, guns, identity to these savings accounts because they've probably got multiple accounts to shift this money from. Could be something, we've got music in reverse, could be something to do with taking music. We've got a safe. One of these people's got a safe and they're hiding money inside of the safe. Wow. They're lying, the compulsive liars, that they want to keep hold of some sort of money, 2828, and spend that going on holiday. I did say, yeah, so they tried to poison divine masculine, divine feminine. They make fake accounts to watch divine masculine, divine feminine from, okay? They're popping on off to ATM, okay, drawing money out of these ATMs, drawing money out of these savings accounts, what they've been putting, shifting money around into, stitched up. They're trying to stitch divine masculine, divine feminine up. They're trying to stitch divine masculine, divine feminine up, trying to set divine masculine, divine feminine up, doing so much bullying. And if divine masculine, divine feminine, stands on up, speaks about this, they will bully even more, either online. Yeah, people in the local hometown, state, city, continent, stalk them, yeah, get them mad or angry, and if they do any form of self-defence on these people, they want this divine masculine, divine feminine to get locked up for defending themselves. Silence. They've got a hairdresser involved. This hairdresser just sees this as some form of entertainment because this hairdresser is in this coven or wants to be involved in this coven and been doing submission magic and then watching from their account that they need to go on off and do some shadow work, selling information to third parties, that's identities and stuff like that, all in the group chat, all involved in falsified legal documentation. A lot of these police officers or what have you could have believed all these lies at first because there was that many people involved, yeah, and I mean that many people involved all because they wanted to fuel their own drug habits, their drinking habits, their partying lifestyle, you know. Maybe some of them wanted to go to a phone shop and get themselves like a new phone, you know, some materialistic things, so they're involved in passing guns around. They are about to witness karma. No way. They did all this as a form of entertainment. They did all this as a form of entertainment for themselves. This divine masculine, divine feminine, you know, or maybe, you know, this story, when they get taken down and under arrest, could be going down in history. Psychic attack. So putting all these psychics around the world under psychic attack. So launch an attack on multiple psychics who are revealing these type of things. 3131. Shut up spell. Doing spell work. Someone with red hair could be significant. This person with red hair wants this divine masculine, divine feminine's throne. They want to just overtake and take absolutely everything what's theirs. I don't bloody know. Could be meeting up at some sort of a lake. Doing a job loss spell. Root work. Prison. You will change history. Galactic Federation of Light. So maybe the Galactic Federation of Light had to step on in. You could be raising the alarm, okay? Trendsetter. What they need to do is stop doing this, okay? Could have deliberately tried to cause some sort of a fire. Could have labelled by force and power of attorney as this divine masculine, divine feminine is incompetent. I know they did this to me years back in order to claim everything of mine. Throat chakra blockage. Deliberately trying to create any type of blockages, okay? One of these people could be working at a fair, okay? One of these people could work at a fair, who's involved. Corrupt solicitor involved. Trying to cover up all this trafficking. Ginger hair could be significant because this is what's coming through. Fake IDs. So they're stealing identity theft, okay? Well, identity theft. This is a lot, okay? But it all links together. It all links. It all links. It all links. They've done this multiple times before. They've been involved, you know, in this level of corruption before, and they've got away with it. So because they've got away with it before, they think that they're going to keep getting away with this level of corruption. They think they are. They think they are going to get away with this level of corruption. Arrest warrants. Plebs who works in these like low vibrational groups. Conflict spells. Corrupt judge. Corrupt judge involved. planning a knife attack, okay? So roaming round on bikes or on the streets, whatever, with knives, planning knife attacks, involved in prank calls. I know I was getting that many prank calls years and years and years back, like quite a few years back now. Constant prank calls, around the clock. MK Ultra, mind control. So they just want to control everyone around them, corrupt everybody around them to get involved and control and manipulate them. So with this stolen inheritance, what they've had, what they've got hold of, because they have already got hold of this, I'm getting, 3535, they've been checking into like hotels and motels and, you know, holidays. So I'm getting Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, who is an undercover cop or something like that, FBI, CID, is gathering information, gathering all the evidence to bring justice. And then what they're doing is they're projecting whatever they are onto this Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. So everything what they are, they're trying to make out like this Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine is them. And yeah, if you get that. So they're trying to make out like this Divine Masculine is them, and these corrupt karmics are pretending to be something what they're not. That's what it is. Daisy could be significant. Someone called Daisy could be involved. We've got Corrupt Lawyer in reverse. YouTube. Either you've got a YouTube channel or you're coming on YouTube to watch these readers who are revealing this information. Because there's a lot of good readers on YouTube, and I mean there's a lot of good readers on YouTube, a lot, who are revealing this. Maybe people can see your crown, yeah? And that's why they want to attack, because this cult doesn't want this Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine to be up and coming out of spite, jealousy. Someone who works in a care home, that could be a mental home, is involved, or an elderly people's home, 3737. Someone who's linking. Change names. They could be trying to change their names on social media, or changing their names in order to open up bank accounts, changing some sort of details, posing to be somebody else. Wow. This is major crimes, what they're persistently doing. The Watcher in reverse. They could have been sending anyone to watch Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. Anybody. Okay? Prosperity. Peacock. You just can't even see it. I don't know. Peacock. Because of this prosperity that they want to keep for themselves. 3838. Shark. Purpose in reverse. But it's not their sole purpose. It's not their gifts, it's not their sole purpose, but they want that sole purpose, they want that soul for themselves. Other people in the process surrounding this connection could have already sold their soul. In order to gain somebody else's soul, if that makes sense. And then we've got shark, linking to loan sharks. Observation in reverse. Ancestors are watching these, okay? Fear in reverse. They just wanted Divine Masculine or Divine Feminine to fear them. Secrets in reverse. These secrets have now been revealed. They wanted Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine to fear them. But we've got the soul. They are fearless. This Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine could be seen as fearless, and they want to be as fearless as this divine masculine, divine feminine. So they have been trying to strategize. We've got the cat and intuition. They've not been listening to their intuition, okay? Because if they did listen to their intuition would have told them not to be doing this, because it is a severe level of corruption. Jealous of divine masculine's power. The Watchers, that's why they was always trying to get people to watch, or is still trying to get other people to watch this divine masculine, divine feminine, which is a form of gang stalking, work in reverse. They've took someone else's work, got ritual in reverse, and they've been performing rituals, but they could be 40-40, they could be, or they could have been saying with this so-called like energy swap, they've been cloaking themselves in divine masculine, divine feminine's energy and claiming to be this divine masculine, divine feminine, which is stolen identity, stolen some sort of work, and they've been performing rituals. Then we've got leadership in reverse, because they want to be seen as this leader themselves. But they're nothing but a set of bullies and groups. And I don't think that this leader, who they took power of attorney over, wants to be like them. They don't want to be like that. Bullying people in groups is not their style. It's not their style. Yeah? It's not their style. It's not the masculine, feminine style at all. They don't like to roam around in groups or gangs. They don't want to join a cult or a coven. They don't want to join a group or a gang or a cult or coven. It's not in their intentions to do that. And maybe because she don't want to join a cult, a group, a gang or a coven, they're all coming up against her. We've got ancestors. But ancestors are all over them. Ancestors are all over them, and I am getting that they have tried to call divine masculine, divine feminine's ancestors in. Wisdom in reverse, because they wanted this wisdom for themselves, and ancestors said no. So because the Most High said no, alright, because the angels and ancestors have said no, they've then gone and bowed down to that of a low vibrational force in order to come up against divine masculine, divine feminine, and strategise and compete for someone else's sole purpose and inheritance. Never. These are the type of people who's never going to change, and ancestors are not protecting this dude, like, they're protecting divine masculine, divine feminine, but ancestors are not protecting them. Egyptian ancestors could be significant. Connections in reverse, they wanted this sole purpose, this forcing power of attorney, so they could split the money amongst themselves, but they wanted this connection to angels, ancestors and spirit for themselves. And they said no. So they tried to make divine masculine, divine feminine appear to be ungrounded, using a shit ton of spell work. Okay? Mayans could be significant. Egypt could be significant. Okay? Happiness in reverse. Deliberately trying to make divine masculine, divine feminine unhappy. But ancestors are there. Strategizing. Okay? Shocking. So maybe these undercover police officers are strategizing against them in order to take them down. Yeah. Because maybe people are starting to see a bit more clearly 4422. Tiger, well in reverse. Maybe they're not feeling too well with ancestors attacking them either. Because they've done some very sinister things in order to force power of attorney, and a lot of people have got involved in that. freedom in reverse. 4455. They've done this because they wanted this financial freedom for themselves. They wanted financial freedom for themselves. So they can go on holiday, piss it up the wall, spend it on sex partners, okay? And go on holidays. Do you know how many people? There's so many people involved in this. Yeah. And they could all be splitting on off now. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they know that undercovers are watching them. Maybe they've got the memo. Maybe they've got the message that undercovers are watching them. News in reverse. And they don't want this news to come out. You see all these ravens here. They've been doing death spells. 4545. They don't want this to come on out in the news, but it's going to be coming out in the news. Cycles, trying to mess with the natural rhythms of the universe also. Trying to mess with the normal rhythms of the universe. They've gone so far. This is why the Galactic Federation of Light stepped on in, you know, and keep stepping on in. Because they're trying to silence the wrong person. Sending monitoring spirits. Also doing come back to me spell, because there's a karmic ex involved in this who wants this divine masculine, divine feminine back, so they can continue to abuse and have access to this money, because they want to keep up this cycle of abuse. They want to keep up this cycle of abuse, ritualistic abuse. They want to keep it up and force divine masculine or divine feminine to get back with a karmic who they don't want nothing to do with anymore in that way. And then going back to what it said earlier, if I can't have you, no one can. And all this magic is being returned to sender. And they are surrounded by undercovers. So are all these corrupt law officials. Wow. Could have hired an investigator to watch this divine masculine, divine feminine. To create distractions. Watch this divine masculine, divine feminine for us. So this divine masculine, divine feminine who's trying to speak out about what they've done to them, forcing power of attorney and stuff like that. Because they want to change someone else's destiny. Divine masculine, divine feminine's destiny. Destiny swap. Messing with the full universe in order to gain power and control over and dominion over divine masculine, divine feminine's inheritance. Divine masculine, divine feminine could have asked for help, but these people held back with helping. People in the mental health services held back with helping because they was involved as well in trying to end divine masculine, divine feminine, 48-48. Wow. You see what I mean? Learning. To reconnect with their own soul and their own intuition, because we've got intuition in reverse. They're shut off from their own intuition. They could want this divine masculine, divine feminine intuition. That's the truth. That's the truth. They want to be this divine masculine, divine feminine. And that's why they've gone so far to ruin this divine masculine, divine feminine as much as what they can. Mental health could have held back any sort of proper help because they was involved in cover-ups. Yeah, wanting to keep profits for themselves. 49. because they decided to work for the devil. A lot of people decide to listen to these rumours and lies because they want this divine masculine feminine's whole world for themselves. They hate this divine masculine divine feminine. Burning bridges. So divine masculine, divine feminine may spend a lot of time on their own, and this is why divine masculine, divine feminine spends a lot of time on their own, because of what everyone's doing. They're all strategizing rituals to make her feel unwell or make him feel unwell constantly. Disgusting. Divine masculine, divine feminine is protected. Peace. Maybe that's what they want. They want peace, love and light. They want balance. They want harmony. I'm getting otherworldly also. You know, with Galactic Federation of Light stepping on in, there's a world here. This person who they've tried to do it to is otherworldly. A starseed, not from this planet, even though they're in the world. They are from like outer space, like starseed. The Galactic, in communication with other star systems, in communication with other star systems. And this is why Galactic War's broken out. This is why Galactic War's broken out. Fear in reverse, because they have done everything they can with this stalking, with this harassment, with these false reports, with all the horrible things what they've been doing, because they want this divine masculine, divine feminine to fear them. I don't know. Yeah, they're all a set of snakes. Look, sacrifice. They've tried to sacrifice divine masculine, and if they have child or children, they try to sacrifice divine masculine, divine feminine multiple times. Snakes. Golden heart, because this divine masculine, divine feminine has got a golden heart. And they want to be seen as having a golden heart. Oh, Jesus. So they have been ritually abusing divine masculine, divine feminine and sacrificing divine masculine, divine feminine in order to cover up what they've done so they can keep all the money for themselves. How disgusting is that? So divine masculine, divine feminine, the collective, undercover investigators, you could be actually learning the truth on what these people have actually been doing. These are the type of people with happiness in reverse. They're never going to be happy. They're never going to be happy because ancestors are not on their side. The watcher in reverse, ancestors are watching them. So they think that they're stalking and watching divine masculine, divine feminine, but ancestors are watching them. Free-spirited. Beating the system traps, set. Looking back at the world. Wanting to make a change in the world. Good change in the world. But that's not what these karmics want, because they're involved in a lot of corruption. So I'm going to leave that there. Sending peace, love and light.